Welcome to the podcast. My name is Father Bill W. I'm an Episcopal priest living here in Austin, Texas, and I've had the gift of recovery since December the 27th of 1972. The idea behind the podcasts is to go deeper into the spirituality, history, and psychology of the program of Alcoholics Anonymous. And the series is on a book. It is titled A Testament of Devotion, and the author is Thomas R. Kelly. Kelly was a Quaker and also a mystic and a professor. So he came at this thing from a number of angles. His book is really an excellent piece of literature. I recommend it highly for doing your morning quiet time. Just read a page, 2 pages at the most, then sink into it and let it sink into you. When I started this series, I thought we'd go through it kind of quickly because it's somewhat deep. You know, I've had some emails from folks that are saying, "No, I'm getting it. It's really good." It's kind of like the big book, I guess. I mean, that sucker is deep too, and you read it the first time and you miss a whole bunch of what is honestly being said there. So it's this kind of book that you're going to have to go back to and read it over and over again. Probably my third or fourth time through it. The chapter we're working on now is called Holy Obedience. It kind of brought to mind some lines, mostly from the 12 and 12. I looked them up. What's the opposite of obedience? It's defiance. A couple of quotes here. Defiance is an outstanding characteristic of alcoholics. That's from the 12 and 12 contents page. And then the other great line is when we encountered AA, the fallacy of our defiance was revealed. So that's what we're dealing with. The ego, the inflated ego, is in some form of defiance to the God within. And then we got to get that relationship right. And if we ever do get the relationship right, then obedience, and what he's calling holy obedience, starts to open up for us. Maybe in a small way in the beginning, but then it grows over time. So anyway, that's what we're going to do. I've got basically 4 quotes, and they're right from the book, and I actually didn't even skip anything. So we're going to basically read the first 2 pages, I guess it is. So I'll read it, and then we'll go back and comment. Out in front of us is the drama of men and of nations, seething, struggling, laboring, dying. Upon this tragic drama, in these days, our eyes are all set in anxious watchfulness and in prayer. But within the silence of the souls of men, an eternal drama is ever being enacted, in these days as well as in others. And on the outcome of this inner drama rests ultimately the outer pageant of history. It is the drama of the Hound of Heaven. It's a poem by Francis Thompson, and it's God chasing after us. The Hound of Heaven baying relentlessly upon the track of man. It is the drama of the lost sheep wandering in the wilderness, restless and lonely, feebly searching, while over the hills comes the wiser shepherd. For his is a shepherd's heart, and he is restless until he holds his sheep in his arms. It is the drama of the eternal Father, drawing the prodigal home unto himself, where there is bread enough and to spare. It is the drama of the double search, as Rufus Jones calls it, and always its chief actor is the eternal God of love. A couple of phrases that really resonated with me when I read that is in this drama of life from the big book. It's saying the same words and trying to get to the same understanding that our relationship with the inner guide, our relationship with the divine within, the great reality within, it's out of whack. And that is what has to be straightened out in order for the juice to flow into us, the sobriety to come into us. And that's not just not drinking or drugging. That's love and meaning and purpose flowing into our lives. All right, we're going to go through it slowly, and we'll just take each of these 4 quotes one by one. Out in front of us, in this drama of men and women and of nations. And what's the condition of these nations and the condition of these men and women? They are seething, struggling, laboring, dying. And why is that? Because this is the drama that we're seeing. And in these days, our eyes are all set in anxious watchfulness and prayer. We see it happening, and it's scaring the hell out of us, and we pray about these things, but I don't know that we change these things. Within the silence of the souls of men, an eternal drama is being enacted. And in these days, as well as in others, it's always been going on. What's happening with the alcoholic and the addict, this separation from God, this disembodiment from spirit, all right? It's what's happening to everybody. I think we just feel it so much more intensely. And more than that, if we don't find a fix for it, a solution for it, we die. That's the great difference between us and normal people. Alcoholics and addicts, if we don't find the solution, we die. If we don't live in the solution, we begin to lose it. And if we lose it, enough of it, it's like air. We can't breathe. And if we can't breathe, we die. Are you getting that? It's that connecting link that this book is all about. And it's that connecting link that the big book is all about. I mean, cut through the language and let go of getting caught in fundamentalist traps. Focus on the big picture. And the big picture is all about connection. All right? On the outcome of this inner drama rests ultimately the outer pageant of history. You want to see what's going on inside, look at what's going on outside. You want to see the condition of your life, look at the chaos that's around you, and if it's overwhelming you, the fix has to come from inside. And then the outside picture will change. It becomes an opportunity to help change other people. It is the drama of the hound of heaven, baying relentlessly upon the track of man. Now, this is going to be a big awakening from this writing. And it's so important, I think. It's like we think we go chasing after God. I gotta figure out God. Well, no, you really don't. What the Hound of Heaven poem says is it's God who's chasing after us. And if we would only stop long enough to meet the hound, all right, to say, what is it you're asking of me? What is it you want from me? And what is it I need from you? If we will do that, then the connection is going to happen. But the impetus is not coming from me in search of God. It's God in search of me. Let me read the poem, first few lines. I fled him being God. I fled him down the nights and down the days. You might remember this from high school. I fled him down the nights and down the days. I fled him down the arches of the years. I fled him down the labyrinthine ways of my own mind and in the midst of tears. I was touched by that poem in high school. I knew it was speaking to me at some level. And this morning, I went and I looked up Francis Thompson, the author. Damned, I did not know this about him. He was a heroin addict. And what he's writing in this poem is that even in the depth of our addiction, there is a power, a love that's coming after us, won't give up on us, all right, wants to reach us and has business with us. And if we will just stop long enough to realize who it is, overcome our fear of it, and enter into a relationship with it, boom, life is going to change, and it's going to change hugely. It is the drama of the lost sheep wandering in the wilderness. You guys have had your time in the wilderness, so have I. Restless and lonely. Restless, irritable, and discontent is the way the book puts it. How are we feeling when we're not in right relationship with this power? We're feeling restless, irritable, discontent, feebly searching. We're looking. But he says, while over the hill comes the wiser shepherd. And the wiser shepherd, if you read Jung, and after all these years, I'm starting to understand him, is that there's another presence, another center in me. You can call it the shepherd to just get yourself going, And it's not some God out there and distant, but some God that in the deepest part of me is trying to come alive, trying to communicate with me, trying to help me become all that I could be. That's the movement of this thing. And we have business with it, and if we avoid it, you can stay drunk, or you can stay stoned, or you can eat yourself to death, or smoke yourself to death, or you can stop and say, who are you? What business do you have with me? This is where two-way prayer, I think, really, really is so critical. And it's just so sad that we lost this. For his is a shepherd's heart. It's a lover. And he is restless until he holds his sheep in his arms. That this God within is not going to rest until we rest in him. It is the drama of the eternal Father drawing the prodigal home unto himself, where there is bread enough and to spare. Get that relationship right. It takes me right to the big book, hey? This is the how and why of it. First of all, we had to quit playing God. It didn't work. Well, been there, done that. Next, we decided that hereafter, in this drama of life, God was going to be our director. He is the principal, we are his agents, he is the father, and we are his children. Most good ideas are simple, and this concept was the keystone of the new and triumphant arch through which we passed to freedom. Get the relationship right. He's saying exactly the same thing that Kelly is trying to say here. Quote number 2, next paragraph. It is to one strand of this inner drama, one scene where the shepherd has found his sheep, that I would direct you. It is the life of absolute and complete and holy obedience to the voice of the shepherd. But ever throughout the account, the accent will be laid upon God. God the initiator, God the aggressor, God the seeker, God the stirrer into life, God the ground of our obedience, God the giver of the power to become children of God. We've got to get over this, because I got stuck in it for years. You got to get over this wrong concept that God is out there. The big book says this God is within. what Jung talked about is, he said, I don't know anything about God. I can't speak of that, but I can speak about the God image that is within you, within me, within each one of us. Kind of similar to what Ebby said to Bill, that your own concept of God is where you begin, but you begin inside, and you begin with, this God is seeking me, not so much he's a mystery wrapped in an enigma, but this God, he, she, it is seeking me, has business with me, all right? Seeks fulfillment in me, in you, all right? We're each unique in that regard. I hope you're getting this, okay? It's a flip. Stop looking for God. End the mystery. God's looking for us. Stop, pay attention, meet, okay? Now, Kelly goes a little bit deeper. And this part of the chapter on obedience, his subsection is called The Nature of Obedience. Beautiful quote here. Quotes Meister Eckhart, another mystic. Eckhart wrote, "There are plenty to follow our Lord halfway, but not the other half. They will give up possessions, friends, and honors, but it touches them too closely to disown themselves." Unquote. It is just this astonishing life which is willing to follow him the other half, sincerely to disown itself, this life which intends complete obedience without any reservations, that I would propose to you in all humility, in all boldness, in all seriousness. I mean this literally, utterly, completely, and I mean it for you, and I mean it for me. Commit your lives in unreserved obedience to him. All right, step 3. 1 and 2 lead to 3. Made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of this shepherd. May not know what that means, may not know the depth of that decision, but that's the decision. Step 3, it's huge. It's huge. And if I'm going to be in obedience to that, then where does the program lead me? It leads me to clearing up all of the stuff that gets in the way of that relationship. So I do an inventory in 4. I confess that to somebody in 5. And as I do that, the flow of love and grace and joy and peace, I'm making room for them in my soul, and they can come in. All right? 6 and 7, the 4 absolutes. And boy, there's the rub with this thing. It's got to be absolute. Okay, shepherd, I'll give you 3 hours a day. I'll give you 5 hours a day. No, I'm the shepherd, you're the sheep. I'm the principal, you're the agent. I'm the director, you're the actor. You got to get it right, or it's not going to flow. Step 11, huge step 11. Sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with this power, with this source of life, this source of love. Improve my contact with it, okay? Asking only for the knowledge of its will. What would you have me do? And once I know what you do, and that's what two-way prayer is about, gaining the knowledge of God's will for us today, now, and the power, accessing the power to carry it out. It's so simple. It's so simple. It's not complicated. Get the relationship right. Get the who's in charge right. Ernie Larson was a former priest and counselor and writer up in Minnesota, passed away a number of years ago. He had a phrase, I just loved his phrase. As soon as I saw it, I said, oh, that's so beautiful. His phrase was, who's driving the bus? Ask yourself that, moment to moment. Who's driving the bus? Is it my ego or is it God? Am I acting under orders or am I giving the orders? Who is driving the bus? Moment to moment. You check on your ego. That's what step 10 is about. That's what the spot check inventory is about. Hey, ego, you back in the driver's seat? Or am I rightly related and seeking guidance? What is your will? Give me the strength to carry it out. Eckhart says lots of people who are willing to go halfway in this thing. Lots of people. And the same is true in 12-step recovery. The program is filled with them. My first sponsor, was a bit of a mystic, right? He had a phrase for this. He called it, he said, Bill, you're going to meet lots and lots of people in recovery who have undergone a limited conversion. They got part of the program. There's part of the surrender. There's part of the seeking God's will. But it ain't whole. It isn't complete. It isn't all, it's half measures. And I do take a little exception with the book, Half Measures Availed Us Nothing. Well, half measures, most people stay sober on half measures. Wilson said that. There's enough grace, enough juice, enough love, enough meaning and purpose coming through to stay sober. Is it enough to satisfy at the deepest levels of our being? No, it's not. And can some people not stay sober on half measures? I think there are a number of those kind of folks out there too. Use a half-assed program, you're going to have a half-assed recovery. And if that's the case, many people are going to fall by the wayside. I think just one more paragraph to go. If you don't realize the revolutionary explosiveness of this proposal, you don't understand what I mean. I'm going to read that one again. If what I've been saying, and more importantly, what he's been saying, if that doesn't make you realize the revolutionary explosiveness of this proposal, you don't understand what I mean. Only now and then comes a man or a woman who, like John Woolman, another Quaker, or Francis of Assisi, someone you might be a little bit more familiar with, only when a man or a woman like them comes along and is willing to be utterly obedient, to go the other half, to follow God's faintest whisper. But when such a commitment comes in a human life, God breaks through. Miracles are wrought, world-renewing divine forces are released, history changes. There is nothing more important now than to have the human race endowed with just such committed lives. Now is no time to say no. Now is the time to say, I am that man. To this extraordinary life I call you, or he calls you through me, not as a lovely ideal, a charming pattern to aim at, hopefully, but as a serious, concrete program of life to be lived here and now in industrial America by you and by me. I want to comment on that line, revolutionary. Frank Bookman, the founder of the Oxford Group, his biographer, Garth Lean, said something to the effect that if you see Frank Bookman, and by that I mean because the steps came from the Oxford Group and they came from Bookman in a very real sense. If you don't see AA as revolutionary, if you see it as a reformer, you're going to miss it. I'll just touch myself up here, there, around the edges. It's not going to work. It's total, it's absolute, it's commitment, and it's living that out. That's revolutionary. That's revolutionary. And what he's saying here, the world needs enough people to do that. It's never going to be everybody. If you think everybody in AA and NA or OA are going to be like this, you're in for a big letdown. But some are. Some are. Find those ones who are. Learn from them and be them. Frank Bookman used to go to Yale to listen to a professor. He said it took him 4 hours of travel back and forth to get there, to sit in. He was auditing a course by Henry Wright was the professor. And Wright contributed in a very large way to our program. Most people have never heard of him. But at the beginning of every lecture, he would write something on the board. I don't have it here, so I'm not going to quote it exactly right. But it went something to the effect of the world has yet to see what can be done by, with, and through a man who will completely give his life to God. Something to that nature. Will you be that man or woman? Will you? That's the question. And Bookman sat there every class, looked at it, and said, I'm going to be that man. And I think that's the challenge to each one of us. Are you going to be half measures, or are you going to be complete? Are you going to go deeper into your third step? And you know, my take is you do the third step once, you do the best you can, give yourself completely, then you live it out. But when it comes to 10, 11, and 12, man, that's where the action is. That's where the life is. You know, are you seeking in your morning prayer and meditation an awareness of what God's will for you is? An awareness in your step 10 that morning of what's blocking you. How are you being half measures in the day before? Was it a half measures day? You know, mine are. Mine are. Well, but I resolve to do better this next day. You can always change. You can always turn around. You know, we are amazing creatures. We have the ability to transform ourselves at a moment's notice, you know, if you will take advantage of it, if you will avail yourself of what's on the other side. Stop thinking it's you got to go chasing after it. It's chasing after you. Stop and ask, what is your will for me today? And when you find that out, you write it down, you ask for the strength and the power to go and do it. He's the director, we're his actors. What a relief. What a relief from having to run the whole damn show. Okay? Holy obedience. Who ever thought a bunch of alcoholics and addicts of all sorts would be trying to find out what is obedience and how do I become it, since we are one of the most defiant lots on the face of the earth? God, I think, has one hell of a sense of humor. All right. So there we go. I'm going to quit there. I'm working real hard on my book, so I don't have enough time to really dig into some of these things as maybe I should, but it's okay. I'm following my guidance, and God said, get that podcast done and get back to writing the book. So sadly won't be out till June of 2025. So, but my deadline is 2 weeks. I got to finish a chapter. So thank you guys for listening. If this was helpful, please do the things you're supposed to do, ring the bells and like and all that good stuff so that other people who are lost can find. Okay. Thanks so much. God bless. Keep coming back.